Giants 7-3. Cowboys 7-3. Dallas 9-point favorite at home. Your New York Giants going in to try to turn things around after the disappointing home loss. And the way this season is gone, right? We're all going to think the Cowboys are going to win. Look at the Cowboys team we saw on Sunday. Look how good they are. Look how dominant they were. We know that things can flip around like that. We see it all the time. We believe that what we have seen most recently is going to continue indefinitely. And then the Giants roll in and they play the Cowboys close, and maybe they can steal one from them. That's why I look at that 9 points, Chris. And I think in both of these games, I'm probably going to pick the favorite to win but the underdog to cover because I think these spreads are too big. And I think the Giants are going to play them tough. And I think that Brian Daboll has been all over them for losing at home to the Lions, a game that they should have won, a game that they needed to win to continue to be in that spot that they've occupied all year where it feels like they have the shine of a playoff team. So I believe in the Giants. I think the Giants are gonna wipe it. You know, the Vikings got to wipe a bad taste out of their mouth from losing to the Cowboys the way they did. The Giants have to wipe the bad taste out of their mouth from losing to the Lions the way they did.
No question. I mean, yes. Again, it just they left their formula of what's made them successful as a football team, right, Mike? I mean, all the things that we've talked about that have helped them through the winning streak. It was kind of opposites day last Sunday versus the Detroit Lions. The Lions were doing things that kind of the Giants have done to teams all year long. Long drives, control the clock running the football, create that one or two turnovers just to give them the extra advantage there. So that was not the Giants football we saw. And that's, as we've talked about a lot, the Giants just aren't good enough to make some of those mistakes and win football games. It's just, plain and simple. There's nothing more to it. Daniel Jones, the 2 interceptions, the first one was bad. It was a great play by Aiden Hutchinson. That hurt the Giants. That was a jump-off spot. The second one was a 4th down, but then the fumble there and when they were kind of trying to mount the comeback kind of put the game away in a lot of aspects. But, as far as the Giants, the one thing I guess I'm worried about more than anything in the matchup is just that, Dallas's offense is kind of rolling. It really is. There's a lot to like. And Dak Prescott, they lost to Green Bay 2 weeks ago. I know that. And Dak Prescott didn't play that well in that game. I mean, they were up 28-14. He threw a pick in the end zone and threw another pick when they were backed up and kind of in their own area that led to points for the Green Bay Packers. So they made mistakes in that football game. But the balance Dallas is showing right now is what scares me for the New York Giants. The Giants aren't a great defense. They've been getting it done with bells and whistles and Wink Martindale being creative and finding ways to just give them a schematical advantage. But this is a matchup where I don't know if there's enough schematics that can get it done. The Giants are not great at stopping the run. Dallas is really running the ball well, and Tony Pollard's scary. And the pass game for Green Bay, other than like we talked about in that Green Bay game there, I mean, for Dallas, it's been clicking here. It's been clicking. And CeeDee Lamb has come alive. We're seeing a little more of Michael Gallup. So that's where I worry about the Giants. Can the defense stop the bleeding and kind of control the game, or are we going to see Dallas kind of explode like we did last week and what they did to the Minnesota Vikings?
Well, and we saw that defense explode. 7 sacks of Kirk Cousins. He had never been sacked that many times his entire career.
Yeah.
Here's Giants coach. Let's have a listen to Brian Daboll and also quarterback Daniel Jones on the challenges of facing that Cowboys pass rush led by linebacker Micah Parsons.
Well, really, Jordan, I think it's execution. Because if you get into passing situations against this team, I mean, just put on the tape, there's a ton of negative plays. So if you're playing the game in 3rd and long and 2nd and long, or you get behind where you got to try to make up ground, that's a bad spot to be in against this team.
Yeah, they're good defense. They're fast and physical. Good pass rush up front, and good players in the back end. They're smart, instinctive, and make a lot of plays. So we'll have a plan for it. We're confident in our ability to attack them.
Hey, look, the Vikings learned the hard way. If you can't run the ball, they're going to come after you.
Yeah, that's right.
And they're going to get you. And this was, even though they held the Cowboys to 3 points on that first drive after the strip sack from Micah Parsons, that set the tone. And You know, the Vikings have been saying we need to get the ball out faster. Well, how much faster can you get the ball out when they're all over you right after you get the ball in your hands? This isn't classic Kirk Cousins taking too long and the walls close in. They're all over him. And that's what Daniel Jones, you know, we've talked in the past about how he has to accelerate the clock in his head. He's got to make it even faster against the Cowboys.
Definitely. You can't, you know, that was the beauty of the Green Bay game. And this is the other aspect of the matchup. And, Mike, I mean, you talk about this a lot when teams play the Chiefs and you know, that offense in Mahomes, where this is a game where I do look at the Giants' offense could be, you know, their best defense in this football game as well. Can they run the ball? Can they control the clock? You know, one, just to help their defense out, who I do think is mismatched by the Dallas offense, but two, they got to run the ball for the reasons you heard Dayball talk about. That was the beauty of the Green Bay game. When Green Bay beat Dallas, they kept saying, hey, it's 2nd and 4. Dallas has to play run defense. They got to respect it. Michael Parsons then doesn't get to play defensive end. He plays linebacker, and that changes the game. You know, your Vikings team last week got stuck in a lot of 2nd and 3rd and longs to where they went, well, it's pretty sure they're going to pass here. Let's put Michael Parsons at defense end, and he just got no chance. He's the best pass rusher in football right now. And Mike, you know, that's where the running the ball and me being there in person the first time to see this matchup, the Giants could not protect against Dallas at all. Daniel Jones, if you remember that Monday night game, his scrambling and ability to run and extend plays was really what saved the day. And then that bought some time and whatever else, and Saquon broke a big run there in the 3rd quarter to score a touchdown, and that was kind of the one positive of the day. But you know, they looked a little outclassed in the first matchup. I know it was 23-16, but I remember sitting there in person going, man, Dallas looks big, Dallas looks fast, and the Giants don't look like they're quite on their level. And I don't think they are on their level. They're going to have to play a game that, you know, control the ball, hope for a turnover here or there. I think if they want to try to win this game, I don't think they're on the same level as the Cowboys.
I remember having that vibe watching that game. The Giants are going to win this game. The Cowboys really had to slam the door on them, catch up.
Yeah, they kept hanging around.
In the second half.
Yeah.
It felt like the Giants were going to prevail. And this time around, I think the Giants can give them everything they can handle, especially because I mean, these, you know, at the end of the day, even though they are impressive physical specimens and they look almost like space travelers in these these helmets that they wear now. I mean, it's so futuristic. And I think back to the 70s and the 80s and the 90s and how different a football player looks. But they're still inside human. And they're young. And it's got to be easy for some of those Cowboys players to get caught up in thinking, hey, we're pretty good right now. Hey, you know, we're pretty good. All we got to do is show up. I don't got to spend extra time doing we kick the crap out of the Vikings. We're pretty good right now. We're just going to continue that.
Well, that's what's scary.
Giants grinding away.
That's what Dallas,
time,
right.
You know, even in a short week. And we see that. We see that inconsistency with the Cowboys. Every time they're riding high. And this high, there's no dominant team in the NFL right now. There isn't. Every time it looks like a team is dominant, somebody beats them. And the Eagles were looking dominant, they lost. The Bills at one point were looking dominant, they lost. The Vikings were looking dominant, at least dominant when it comes to what the final score is, not the process of getting there, and they get blown off the field. It shifts and it changes, and we have 7 more data points before we get to the spot where we figure out who gets in and who doesn't. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.